Our class, today's lesson is on writing equation in slope intercept form. But before we have the bell ringer, you can go to quizzes.com and enter the code for the bell ringer. Okay. Um, let's see. From today, I noticed from the bell ringer, a lot of kids are having difficulty writing the order pair for a point when it's on the x-axis or when it's on the y-axis. Okay, and so I want to go over that real quick. Now, let's look at this. That's this point right here, the blue point. Now, to get the order pair for that point, all right, we always go along the x-axis first. Always go along the x-axis first, and then we go up and down to get the y-coordinate. All right. So for this blue point right here, I'm going to count off 1, 2, 3. So my x-coordinate is 3, and then I go up 1, 2, 3. And so the y coordinate is 3. Okay, so I think some of you guys are really good at that one. No, when the point is on the x-axis, it's a little bit tricky. Again, the same process, right? Let's go with the one here on the x-axis. I'm going to go over on the x-axis 1, 2. Right? So my x-coordinate is 2. My x-coordinate is 2. Now, uh, am I going to go up or down? No, because the point is right here on the x-axis. So I'm not going to go up. I'm not going to go down. The point is right here. So the y value is going to be 0. Okay. And then similarly, if the point is on the y-axis now, okay, again, to get the x value, to get the x coordinate, normally I would go right or left. But I'm not going to this time because the point is right here on the x-axis, and that is 0. Now, to find the y value now, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that's how you get the order pair for when the point is on the y-axis or x-axis. Now, the short way of doing this is to remember that on the y-axis, right, you're going to have 0, comma y. And on the x-axis, right, you're going to have x, comma 0 for your order pair. All right, just if you can remember that, you'll be fine. All right. Um, Now, today's lesson, okay, one more thing I want to go over is how to find points, find a slope from a graph. Now, remember from yesterday's lesson, to find the slope from a graph, you need 2 points, all right? And so I like to call them pretty points. This is one right here, and that is at 0, comma 3, and the other one is at, let's go with -1, -1. -1, -1. So those are my 2 points. Again, you could have used this point down here. It doesn't matter as long as they are 2 good points. And so we're gonna identify our x1 and or x1 y1 and our x2 y2. And so this is my first point, so I'm gonna make it my x1 y1. This is my second point. It's gonna be my x2 y2. And so remember the equation, right? For slope is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so let's plug in our values now. My y2 is -1 minus my y1 is 3. And that's over my x2 is -1 and my x1 is 0, minus 0. And so if you solve that, -1 minus 3, that is -4. And -1 minus 0 is -1. And remember, when you divide with negative signs, when the signs are the same, it becomes +4. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Now, if you have a graph like this and you want to do rise and run, I know you guys learned this in junior high school, all right? And I just want to still give you the opportunity to do that. So for rise and run, okay, again, you pick 2 points. And what I tell the kids is, once you find 2 good points, start with the lowest point and draw your triangle. All right, and so I'm going to start with my lowest point right here. And so if I draw my triangle, I'm going to go up, all right, and then to the right. Not the best straight line, but you get a picture. So that's my triangle right there. And so from the slope is rise over run. And so for my rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rise is 4, and my run is 1. All right. Now, is that going to be a positive or a negative for a 1? Well, there's a trick to this. If you go up and go to the right for your run, the slope is positive. If you go up and to the left for your run, the slope is negative. If you remember this rule right here, you can go wrong on the sign of your slope. All right, just remember this. If, and another example, we're gonna go to the left, so you'll see us using this one. All right. Okay. So today's lesson is writing equation in slope intercept form. All right, using y equals mx plus b. All right. And so let me go back to this graph right here. I want to make the connection so you guys see what I'm talking about. Let me erase this for a second. All right. So you have your linear graph, and we have the equation y equals mx plus b. All right. So remember, in this equation, the b is your y-intercept and the m is your slope. Your y-intercept b is this point right here. Just remember that. All right. That's where the line crosses the y-axis. So all we got to do now is find our slope. And we're going to do some examples. Uh, so let's look at this one. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this clearly. Let's go to 150. All right. Ooh, that's nice and big. All right. So here we go now. We have a graph, and we're going to find the equation for this graph. Now, if you notice, there's a point already given right there. Okay, so let's find another point we can use. I'm going to go with this one right here, 2 comma 0. All right. Okay. Now, again, you can still use the slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But if you use rise of run, I think it's a lot faster to get the slope from here. And so let's go. So for my slope now, right, I'm going to draw my triangle. So I'm going to go, again, I'm going to start with the lowest point. The lowest point, which is this one, I'm going to go up and then to the right. And if you notice now, I went up from my rise, I went up 1 point. 1 point, so that's 1 over. My run is 2. 1, 2. So, and because I went up and to the right, my slope is going to be positive. So 1/2. My y-intercept, if you look at the graph, my y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. It's right there, and that is -1. So my equation is going to be y is equal to 1/2 x minus 1. Okay, so I just replace this. Remember, this is the equation y equals mx plus b. My b is now -1, and my m is now 1/2. Okay, so that's how we get the equation. All right. Okay, so let me erase this and get some more space to do the other one. You can go ahead and pause the video and try find the y-intercept, slope, and the equation for that graph on the right. And then you can come back and check your answer. All right, so for this graph, all right, my y-intercept, again, look at it, that's where the line crosses the y-axis, and that is -2. All right. Now let's find my slope now. I have a good point right here. That's a good point right there. And then so I need another good point. I'll call it pretty point. And I'm going to use this one right here where the line crosses the x-axis or the x-intercept. So now I'm going to draw my triangle. Remember, I'm going to use the lowest point that I have, which is this one here. So I'm going to draw my triangle. So I'm going to go up 1, 2. So my rise is 2. And let's do my run now. I'm running to the left. 1, 2, 3. So my run is 3. Now, remember the rule I said before, right? Because I went up and to the left, my slope is going to be negative. So this is going to be negative 2/3. Negative 2/3. All right. So my equation now is, remember, my equation is y is equal to mx plus b. My m is negative 2/3. So I'm going to replace the m with negative 2/3 times x. And my y-intercept is negative. So I'm going to have a plus negative 2. But remember, whenever I have a plus and a negative, the negative wins the battle. So this is going to be it's going to be negative 2. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. On this one, again, pause the video and try it on your own, and then come back and look at it. All right. So the y-intercept is 4, as you can see. That's right here. And let's do my slope now. Let's find a good point I can use. This is a good point right here. So let's draw my triangle. Again, I'm going to start with the lowest point, which is this one here. So I'm going to do my rise. 1, 2, 3. So my rise is 3. And my run now, I'm going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. But because I went to the left now, right, my slope is going to be negative. So that's going to be negative 3/4. So this becomes negative 3/4. And so my equation now is going to be y is equal to negative 3/4 x plus 4. All right. All right. Let's look at now. We're going to look at a table. All right. Now, before we had a graph, now we're going to look at a table. And it's the same process. I remember from junior high, right? If you're given a table to find the y-intercept, go down the x column. Wherever you see 0, right? The corresponding y value is going to be your y-intercept. So 3 is my y-intercept. All right, so let's find the my slope. Now I'm gonna pick 2 points. Again, you can pick any 2 points. Let's go with the first two. And this is just like junior high school when you did the change in value or the delta. All right, you'll see it's the same thing as the y2 minus 1. All right, I'll show you in a second. So my points are 0, 3. That's my first point. And my other point is 2, 11. So this is my x1. This is my y1. This is my x2. And this is why I stress using the slope formula, because when you come to tables and given 2 points, you've got to know to use that formula. All right. So my slope formula is m is equal to y2. In fact, let me do this over here. Let's do this over here on the right, okay? So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? So my y2 is 11. My y1 is 3. That's minus 3. Over my x2 is 2. And my x1 is 0, so that's minus 0. 11 minus 3 is 8, and my 2 minus 0, 2 minus 0 is 2. It's the same thing now. Look at this, right? The change in value, right? 11 minus 3 is 8, all right? And 2 minus 0, 2 minus 0 is 2. See, I got the same thing over here. All right, and so 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my slope is 4. And so my equation now is going to be y is equal to 4x plus 3. All right, go ahead and pause the video and do the second one, the table on the right, and come back and check your answer. All right, I'm going to erase this so I get some more space. All right. Okay, welcome back. So let's find my y-intercept. Remember, to find the y-intercept, that's where x equals 0, all right? So I'm going to come down the x column, and wherever I see 0, my corresponding y value is going to be my y-intercept, negative 1. Okay, so let's find the equation. Let's find my slope now. Again, I'm gonna pick 2 points. All right. Let's go with. I'm gonna pick these two in the middle because there's a zero and the numbers are smaller to work with. All right. Pick these two. All right. So my points are 0, comma -1, and 1, comma 2. All right. So let's go with my x1, y1, my x2, y2. And remember, the formula is, where the space, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. And so my y2 is 2 minus my y1 is -1. So minus -1 over my x2 is 1 minus my x1 is 0. So here we have some negative signs now. Remember, when you have two negative signs together, they become a positive. All right, so that's going to give me 2 plus 1, that is 3, over 1 minus 0 is 1, which is 3. So my slope is 3. All right, so there you go. So my equation now is going to be y is equal to 3x, right, plus a -1. But remember now, a plus and a minus just give you a minus sign. All right. All right. Okay. Let's see what we have left. We have one more. Okay. Again, my y-intercept is going to be 1 because the x value is 0. So that's going to be 1 right there. And so now let's find our slope. Again, I'm going to pick 2 points. This one, this one, this one. Again, you can use, if you use the change in value or the delta, 4 minus 1, that is 3. All right, 1 minus 0 is 1. Okay, so remember, this is same as saying y2 minus y1, same process. So let's do real quick. The bell is just wrong. Let's finish up this real quick. So we have my first point is going to be 0, 1. 0, comma 1. My second point is 1, comma 4. And so this is my x1, this is my y1, this is my x2, that's my y2. And remember, it's y2, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, all right? And so my y2 is 4 minus my y1 is 1 over my x2 is 1 minus my x1 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. 1 minus 0 is 1. That equals 3. So my m is 3. And so same thing, you see, I have a 3 and a 3. I get the same answer. And so my equation is going to be y is equal to 3x, right, plus 1. Hopefully, if you hopefully this will help you if you miss class today. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.